Good evening and welcome to the English News Program. NTV wants to help you understand the major news events of the past week by providing them in English. My name is Danny Wolf. On Wednesday, President Elbigdorch welcomed the President of Finland, Ms. Tarja Halonen, and her spouse Pentti Arjava at Sukbader Square. The heads of both nations discussed education and agreed it would be beneficial to work together on tackling the issues faced. During the meeting, President Halonen said that Finland is ready to cooperate on efforts to increase the reindeer population in Mongolia. She also spoke about the importance of increasing the number of women participating in politics. Later, Speaker Demirel also met with the Finnish president to discuss issues of diplomatic relations and possible partnerships between the two nations. The speaker said he was satisfied with the results of the state visit, which happened to be the first among Scandinavian countries, and underlined that bilateral interparliamentary ties play an important role in Mongolian-Finnish relations. Mrs. Halonen praised Mongolia for its good government. She also added that Finland is ready to work with Mongolia on water purification, as it has much experience in recycling wastewater and environmental protection, particularly saving and rehabilitating forests. The speaker positively received the proposal and underlined that it is important for Mongolia to gain experience in protecting the environment by combating desertification, rehabilitating forests, and saving fresh water. President Elbigdorch taught a 4-hour telelesson live on Mongolian national broadcasting for the official first day of the school year. The class, entitled A Beautiful Mongolia, was broadcasted live from MNB Studio 600 in Ulaanbaatar. The President's telelesson has become a tradition for kicking off the school year, which began in 2009. This year, the President talked about Mongolian customs, heritage, and history. Last year, his program was titled Mongolian Pride, and in 2000, it was called Climate Change and Mongolia. After the lesson, the President answered some questions from the press. He said there is a chance for private investments to build new kindergartens next year, as the state budget has no funding allocated for new ones. In return, the government will pay back investors in the near future. Throughout the country, many children are unable to attend kindergarten because there aren't enough or the travel makes it too inconvenient. The Ulaanbaatar mayor has ordered city officials to start work at 8 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. beginning September 1st. The prior start time was 9 a.m. The mayor says the change will help reduce traffic jams in the city. Currently, the city's worst traffic jams occur from 8 to 9 a.m. as work times for state and private organizations are the same. An estimated 9,000 city officials will be affected by the change. Traffic police noted that jams are expected to be reduced by 10% as the change goes into effect. This will also impact many services provided by the state, since they will begin and end an hour earlier than before. Every day, City Hall grants UB residential status to an average of 160 people moving in from the countryside. As the new school year begins, that number will close to double. During these days, the number of people who received city residential status reached 300 a day. The majority of new residents are young people who have arrived to the city as students. The city registration office has to deny some applications due to lack of appropriate documentation. The total amount to receive city residential status is 6,000 tugrik. Children 16 and under are free of charge. Every year, the city population increases rapidly due to immigration from the countryside. In fact, 2 years ago, the number of new residents from the countryside totaled 28,000. Last year, it increased to 34,000 new residents. This year, 812 Mongolian students will study abroad using government scholarships. The students will study in over 16 countries, with the majority of them receiving financial aid from foreign governments where they will be studying. Most will study in the fields of biology, engineering, and technology. The total number of Mongolian students who study abroad is 10,000. Many nations who establish diplomatic relations with Mongolia agree to provide scholarships to Mongolian students. Starting last year, the Mongolian government passed a resolution which makes candidates eligible for such scholarships only if they are the top students in national and international contests. After completing a strict selection process, some candidates are awarded the opportunity to study in over 500 of the world's best high schools. Since 1997, Mongolian graduates who decide to continue their education abroad can receive financial aid from the state. In return, students must return to Mongolia and work for 5 years in specific sectors. The harvest season has begun in Mongolia as autumn is fast approaching. It's estimated that this year's wheat harvest will satisfy 100% of domestic need. The wheat harvest will start early this year, which means it will produce quality grains, making for a successful season. Agricultural companies are planning on collecting 427,000 tons of wheat from 300 hectares this year. All preparations for the harvest have been made, said officials. Mongolia will also meet 60% of domestic need for potatoes and other vegetables. It's estimated that this year will produce 174,000 tons of potatoes, 90,000 tons of other vegetables, and 8.9 thousand tons of livestock feed. This year's harvest collection method will be improved by using more silage and combine machines. Weather pending, companies will begin to harvest in September, with the end being no later than October 20th. Thank you for joining us tonight. See you next week on English News. On behalf of the English News team, I'm Danny Wolf saying good evening.